Honored guests, welcome to the palace. I am the court jester, and I shall be your entertainment for the evening. Would you care to see some juggling? I should have known better than to attempt that. Will you at least stay a while? I may be the best court jester in all the land, but I'm not very talented. I do, however, have a knack for magic. Usually I just use it for the little things, like helping the servants with their chores or bringing flowers to the princesses. However, there was one kind, albeit rather brainless king I worked for who needed a little help. He was king over the small island of Illyria. And although he was a good king, he was always very busy. There was another member of the family, the Princess Lenora. She was a lovely child with a fondness for raspberry tarts.
Lenora, you put those tarts down right now. You're going to spoil your dinner.
Sorry, Papa.
I pitied the young girl, seeing as she had no one to talk to. So occasionally I visited her, when she seemed particularly lonely.
Look at the moon, Jester. Look how big it is.
It must be showing off for you.
Oh, I hope so. I talk to him sometimes, you know, when there's no one else to talk to. Did you know that the moon is made of gold? No wonder he shines so brightly every night. I'd shine like that, too, if I were made of gold.
Now, as I said, I enjoyed the occasional random act of magic. When I saw this sad little princess staring out her window, I knew I had to do something to help. And seeing as the princess loves raspberry tarts so much, I thought I'd leave her a surprise.
Yes!
Lenora, you've gotten into the tarts again?
But Nana...
When will your father teach you manners? You're going to make yourself sick.
Nana, you know my father never teaches me anything.
Of course, her nanny was right. Soon Lenora was so sick from overindulging in raspberry tarts that she had to be taken to bed.
Oh,
Dear child, what has come over you?
I think I have a fever. I'm hot and cold all over.
That's strange. You don't feel feverish. At any rate, we'd better get you to bed. Come along.
Will you tell Papa about this?
Of course, he needs to know if you're unwell. Now, stay under the covers and get some rest.
What am I going to do?
Well, what would most kings do in this situation?
Summon a physician from overseas? Mash up some herbs together? Hire a clown? I don't know. I suppose we could send her somewhere to have special doctors look at her. Maybe she's come down with something new and rare. Perhaps she stumbled out onto the green and ate some strange mushrooms. We should call a mushroom specialist and have her looked at.
Perhaps, Your Majesty, you could go talk to her?
Well, what good would that do?
You are the king, sire. You may be able to make her feel a little better. Give her what her heart desires most.
Huh. I suppose you're right.
Papa, you came to see me.
Of course I did, Lenora. Is there anything that I can get you that will make you feel better? What does your heart desire most?
I want the moon, Papa. If you can get me the moon, I shall be well again.
The moon?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to get the moon? Lenora wants the moon. If she can have the moon, she will be well again.
Well, then I guess you better get her the moon.
But how?
Perhaps Lenora would know.
Oh, she's only a child. She knows nothing of science. Jester, summon my advisors.
Now, the king had a great many advisors who always got for him anything he wanted.
If we look here in these ancient philosophical texts, it clearly states that an unladen swallow can fly at approximately 11 meters per second.
That's preposterous. You're not factoring the difference in wingspan. According to my calculations, the Egyptian swallow clearly flies at 10 meters per second, far slower than the European swallow.
Even so, that doesn't account for the velocity of a swallow carrying a heavy object. They are simply not practical, load-bearing birds.
They are practical. Just because your glasses are twice as thick as mine doesn't give you twice as many brains.
What is the point of using a swallow in the first place? I can just summon these things into existence.
I've never seen you produce so much as a coconut using your magic.
Advisors, please. I want you to get me the moon. Princess Lenora wants the moon. If she can have it, she will be well again.
Save us. Your Majesty! I've got a great many things for you in my time, Your Majesty. In fact, I happen to have a list here with me. I have gotten for you ivory, apes, and peacocks, rubies, opals, emeralds, black orchids, pink elephants, blue poodles, hummingbirds' tongues, angels' feathers, unicorns' horns, frankincense, ambergris, myrrh, troubadours, minstrels, dancing women, a pound of butter, 2 dozen eggs, a sack of flour. Oh, sorry, my wife put that in there.
I don't remember anything about blue poodles.
It says blue poodles right here on my list. You just forgot.
Never mind the blue poodles. What I want now is the moon.
Your Majesty, the moon is simply out of the question. It is 35,000 miles away and bigger than the room the princess lies in. Furthermore, it is made entirely of molten copper. I cannot get it for you. Blue poodles, yes. The moon, no.
Fine then. If you can't get me the moon, then perhaps the magician will have a solution.
I've performed a great deal of magic for you in my time, Your Majesty. As a matter of fact, I happen to have a list of all the wizardries I've performed for you. It begins, Dear Royal Wizard, I'm returning here with the so-called Philosopher's Stone, which you can... Oh dear, that's not it. Now let's see. I produced rabbits out of hats for you and hats out of rabbits. I've compounded potions to cure heartbreak, surfeit, and ringing in the ears. I've provided you with my own special mixture of wolfsbane, nightshade, and eagle's tears to ward off witches, demons, and things that go bump in the night. I've given you 7-league boots, the golden touch, and a cloak of invisibility.
It didn't work.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. I kept bumping into things, same as ever.
A cloak of invisibility is supposed to make you invisible. It is not supposed to keep you from bumping into things.
What I want to know now is how to get the moon.
No one can get you the moon. It is 150,000 miles away. It is made of green cheese and is entirely twice as big as the palace. All the magic in the world isn't going to change basic facts, Your Majesty.
Mathematician, please tell me that you can get me the moon. And don't give me a list of all the things that you have figured for me since 1907.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned all the things I've figured for you since 1907, because it just so happens I have that list with me. I have figured for you how far away up is from down, how long it takes to get to away, and what becomes of gone. I have discovered the length of time, the price of the priceless, and the square of hippopotamus. I know where you are when you are at 6s and 7s, how much is you have to make an R, and how many birds you can catch with the salt in the ocean. 187,796,132, if you want to know.
There are not that many birds.
I didn't say there were, I said if there were.
I don't want to hear about it. What I want is the moon.
Your Majesty, the moon is 300,000 miles away. It is round and flat like a coin, only it is made of asbestos and is half the size of this kingdom. Furthermore, it is pasted to the sky. No one can get to the moon.
What kind of advisor are you if you can't get me the moon?
A wise one. Maybe, Your Majesty, you should start making reasonable requests.
If I say it is, then it is reasonable. The princess demands it. It is your duty to get it.
Your Majesty, it is impossible to get the moon. This is a reality the princess must come to accept.
Get out! All of you!
Your Majesty, the wisest people in all the land may not be able to get the moon, but you're not getting it for them. Have you thought about asking Lenora how big and how far away she thinks the moon is?
Why should she know these things?
She knows the moon better than anyone else. She spends every night looking out at it from her window. I'm sure she would know.
I never thought of that.
So the king decided to do what he should have done all along, and he went and talked with his daughter.
Papa, have you brought the moon for me yet?
Not yet, but I will. Lenora, how big do you think it is?
Oh, that's easy. It's just a little bigger than my thumbnail. When I hold it up, it just about covers it.
Oh, of course it is. But how do you know for sure?
Just look out the window and hold up your thumb like this. See? It's not very big at all. And if you look, the moon just touches the trees. You know, I talk to him every night, Papa. You can talk to him too if you came to watch him with me.
I will try, my dear. Lenore thinks the moon is about the size of her thumbnail, and that it hangs above the tree outside her window. But that can't be true, can it?
Can't it?
And besides, even if it is that close, how are we supposed to get it? Climb the tree? But that can't be possible, otherwise my advisors would have suggested it. So it must be up in space somewhere.
Your Majesty.
She says she talks to the moon, Jester. That's absurd. How can she talk to the moon?
Your Majesty, I think you're missing the point.
Of course I'm not missing the point. There's simply nothing I can do to get the moon for her.
Your Majesty, the point is not where the moon actually is. The point is where Princess Lenora thinks it is. And right now, I think I see the moon behind your ear. Ah, look. I have made the moon.
You're a genius. Of course she will think we have gotten her the moon. I will give it to her right away.
Of course I'm not a genius. Lenora was the one who determined how big and how far away the moon was. But there's no need to tell the king that now.
Oh, he's beautiful. He's exactly like I thought he was.
I'm glad you like him, dear.
Papa, will you come and watch the moon with me tonight?
Lenora, you've got the moon around your neck. There won't be any moon in the sky tonight.
But Papa...
Oh, don't worry, dear. I'm sure the sky will be just as pretty without the moon in it. Think of all the stars you can see. We gave Lenora the moon, but it's still in the sky. If she looks out and sees it, she'll know the moon that she has isn't the real moon, and then she'll be ill again.
Your Majesty, I'm afraid I had to put Lenora back to bed. She seemed to be getting better this morning, but her symptoms worsened this evening.
Oh, no. She must have seen the moon. She must have seen the moon in the sky.
Your Majesty.
We need to make sure that Lenora never sees the moon again. But how? We can't just take it out of the sky. Perhaps I need some more opinions.
Your Majesty,
Yes,
perhaps...
sir. Please summon my advisors.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Advisors, we need to keep Lenora from seeing the moon, or else she will be ill again. Surely, you must have some idea of how to accomplish this.
Oh! We could make a pair of dark glasses for the princess. That way, she won't be able to see the moon when it shines in the sky at night.
Or we can hang huge black velvet curtains all around the palace. That way she won't see the moon when it shines overhead.
I have it! We can set off fireworks every night. When they go off, the sky will be filled with so many sparks that the princess won't be able to see the moon.
Are you all mad? If she wore dark glasses, she would bump into things. Black velvet curtains would keep the air out so she wouldn't be able to breathe. And fireworks would keep her awake so she would be ill from lack of sleep. Is that the best you can do?
Your Majesty, we are advisors, not miracle workers.
There's simply no practical way we can stop Lenora from seeing the moon.
The princess must accept that she doesn't have the moon.
Unacceptable. If she doesn't think she has the moon, she will not get better. There's nothing you can do for me. Away with you! I don't know what to do. Lenora will never get better.
Shall I fetch my lute and play some sad music for you, Your Majesty?
It seems that is all that can be done now.
Your Majesty, do you really think that getting Lenora the moon will make her feel better?
Of course, she said as much.
You don't think there's anything she wants more than the moon?
What are you getting at?
Your Majesty, your daughter is wiser than all of your advisors. She's already proven that to you once. She doesn't just want the moon. She wants to spend time with you.
That's nonsensical. How dare you tell me how to be a parent?
You've been completely ignoring her. Your daughter is sick, and all you've been doing is sitting on your throne, consulting your advisors, and completely avoiding her.
You've overstepped your bounds. Leave me.
You're going to have to face the truth eventually, Your Majesty.
What am I going to do now? I can't stop Lenora from seeing the moon. My daughter may never be well again.
Your Majesty?
Yes, what is it?
It's your daughter, Your Majesty. She isn't getting any better.
Is there nothing you can do?
No, Your Majesty. This is beyond my knowledge of medicine. Your Majesty, she asked for you. I told her you were very busy, but she sent me anyway. I understand if you don't have time.
Very well. I will come.
Papa, you came?
Of course I did. And I brought you something special.
You brought me tarts.
I heard they're your favorite.
Thank you, Papa.
Lenora, how is it that the moon can be around your neck and outside at the same time?
That's simple. When I lose a tooth, a new one grows in its place, doesn't it?
I suppose so.
And when a unicorn loses its horn in the forest, a new one grows in the middle of its forehead. And it's just the same with the moon.
That's right. I should have thought of that. You know, you're a very clever girl, Lenora.
Papa, can we go out to the garden and watch the moon?
I thought you weren't feeling well, my dear.
Oh, I feel much better now.
Then I suppose we can.
I know what you're thinking. Maybe my methods are strange and unusual. However, I never said I made the princess ill. No. Little Lenora did that all by herself. Anyway, after that day, the king and Lenora made time to watch the moon together every night. No matter how many papers the king had to sign, he always made time to watch the moon with his daughter. Luckily for me, this gave me ample time to keep practicing the lute. Speaking of which, I better get back to that. Thank you for staying for my tale. Farewell.